Good morning, man, and Merry Christmas from me and CS3. Happy Wednesday. Merry Christmas. God bless you all, man. I hope everybody's Christmas day is off to a vibrant and pleasant start. Man, what your kids get for Christmas, man? How was your Christmas morning so far?
Man, thanks. Shout out to my mom for sending all these gifts. she every year she sends boxes of gifts for all the kids that we have at the house. So man, they got tons of stuff to open up. Very grateful. Merry Christmas to everybody out there, especially back home in Cleveland. But yeah, it should be a good Christmas, man.
So let me ask you something, man. First, happy belated birthday. You celebrated your birthday this past Sunday. Growing up for you, your birthday on the 22nd, Christmas was on the 25th. How was that? How was those 2 or 3 days? Did you get your gifts at once? Like, I need to know, like, what's the breakdown? Because if you ask me, man, that's a sad situation.
I'm convinced they never admitted to this or said this, but I'm convinced they bought a few gifts and just split them up between Christmas and my birthday. But no, it's always been cool, man. Mom always made a cake on birthdays. Always got Madden every single, I think, Christmas. I always got Madden, so I always knew what was coming on Christmas. So Madden came out like in the summertime, and I'll just wait till
Yeah,
I'm gonna get that thing in Christmas. I can't wait till it come. Boom, open that thing, and I'm in the living room playing all day. So yeah, it was cool, man. And
I
you
was
know what's
always
crazy? What's crazy? My
well.
dad's born on the 20th, and my sister's born on the 12th. So like the month of December is like nuts in the house.
My mom's birthday is tomorrow, the 26th. So yeah, happy
What?
birthday to my mom, man.
Happy
But
birthday!
yeah,
Happy birthday!
Christmas is crazy. I remember I used to be that kid who couldn't sleep the night before. Like me and my brother was up 3, 4 in the morning. And this one particular Christmas, I remember when I hit the door and I seen like a trail of gifts kind of like leading into the dining room. Man, that was a great year that year.
Yeah.
Hey man, remember man to like, subscribe, man, ring that bell so you can stay in the know with everything that's going on with the Ultimate 216 show, all of our spin-off shows, and of course our flagship show, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We got a very special Christmas episode for you all today. It's titled All I Want for Christmas, right? And what me and Cecil is gonna do is we're gonna go through and break down what we want for Christmas with all three professional teams in the city of Cleveland, something that we want personally, and then something that we both want for the city that we love so much. But before we get into it, it's a good time to let you know that this episode of the Ultimate 216 show is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit fanduel.com/UCSS to join today. You'll get started with $250, not 150, $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's fanduel.com/UCSS. Never waste a hunch and make every moment with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So, brother, man, we know Christmas time is the one time that you can really come to your parents, come to Santa, and ask for some things that you want. Growing up, like most of the case, it was always, "What do you need? I'm gonna make sure you get what you need." And
Mhm.
me and you decided to sit down and talk about some things that we want for our three professional franchises here, and some things that we want personally and for the city. Man, let's get started with the Cleveland Guardians. Now the Guardians have been in the news already that then traded Josh Naylor. You didn't like the Jimenez trade. I like the Jimenez trade. I'm pretty sure you both pissed off after you seen Josh Naylor get traded for pretty much peanuts or whatever. We got a pitcher with a 6.66 ERA, but Jason Lloyd said he throws 100 miles an hour. So we got the pitcher whisperer here in Carl Willis, and he's a young kid. I think he's 25 years old, got 2 years of professional experience. So he's a raw talent. We'll see what happened there. But me personally, I'm in line with you. I ain't like this move. I think when you subtract 30 home runs and 100 RBIs away from your lineup, and you are already a team that needed another bat in the lineup, it's a head scratcher. You replacing him essentially with Santana, and Carlos Santana is somebody that's beloved in the city of Cleveland.
For sure.
But
For sure.
$12 million for a guy that's 38 years old, that's probably not going to be your everyday first baseman. It's just a head scratcher. So, what is the one thing that you really want from this Cleveland Guardians franchise this Christmas?
All I want for Christmas is these trades to make sense. Like these trades to make sense. But in a serious note, I want the younger prospects in Travis Bazana and Kyle Manzardo to really work out. Because when you have these trades, and it's frustrating in baseball because I feel like baseball, the trades don't make sense like in football or basketball, right? They don't make
Mhm.
sense right away, especially to a fan, right? I'm not a baseball savant, so especially
Right.
towards a fan, it doesn't make sense right away. Like if you trade, like Deshaun Watson trade, it made sense. You traded for Deshaun, you got 3 first round picks, or gave up 3 picks. You got this guy, you got that guy, right? If you trade LeBron, you get boom, 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 whatever case may be. Um, in baseball, you're trading. It seems like the Guardians are trading production for potential, right? You're trading production for the possibility of these younger guys to play well. And it's like you just went to the ALCS. Like you were not that far off from going to the World Series, beating the Yankees and going to the World Series. But like you mentioned, you give up Naylor 31 home runs last year, 108 RBIs. I believe he made the All Star team last year.
Mhm.
You look at a platinum glove winner that you gave up for potential. And for me, I know it's different in baseball and the farm system works, but as a fan, I'm like, yo, we got worse on defense. We didn't get better on defense. I feel like we got worse. And I'll give the Guardians this. I almost called them the Indians. I'll give them the Guardians this. They have turned pitchers from nothing to something. I
Mhm.
think they have the right to say, hey, just trust us when it comes to developing pitchers, developing these guys. So I may give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, I won't complain too much. I'll wait and see what you can do with Slade and what you can do with others. I'll see how Ortiz turns out. But I'm like, dog, this guy. We traded Naylor for a Fago pop and a 25-cent bag of chips. I'm like, and he was literally on the All Star team last year. At least a better return package would make me happy. But so all I want for Christmas is Travis Bazana for him to work out because it seems like to me you're banking on him. I know you brought in Carlos Santana, but he's 38, 39 years old. He's not going to play every single time. So Kyle Manzardo, I'm hoping he continues to get better. Second half of the year for him was really good after the All Star break.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping those two young fellas can really help us out.
Yeah, so I'm on the same type of time you on, man. All I want from Christmas is for Travis Bazana to step in next year and be a bona fide superstar and make an immediate impact on his team, right? Like when you look at Travis Bazana and you hear the hype and you hear the potential, I'm not a savant either. So I don't know exactly like what his ceiling is in baseball, but I know it's pretty high. I know this guy is talked about like he's next up. And I think about when I look in Baltimore, that young kid Jackson Holiday, right? Like knowing that okay, they got a stud on their hands, right? Give me a cat that's the next Bobby Witt Jr. or something like that, right?
Yeah,
And we got Jose Ramirez, and that's great. But Jose really don't talk, and Jose's personality is kind of reserved. But give me a guy like Travis Bazana, who seems on the surface to have a lot of personality, and he has the game that can back it up. And if this dude can step in immediately, win that opening day starting job at second base, be able to compete for rookie of the year right away, and actually leave no doubt and no questions about him being him,
yeah,
then man, that's great for this entire city. It's great for Major League Baseball. And at least for the next 5 or 6 years, we got a superstar outside of Jose that we can watch. I think Travis Bazana can get it done defensively. I think he can get it done with the bat. And this is a kid that a lot of people is high on. And we talked about this last week. The moment that you made that trade, sending Jimenez away, it pretty much cleared the path for Bazana to
yeah.
be able to step in and handle his business. Let's take a look at his 2024 minor league stats. I mean, he had 101 at bats, 24 hits, hit 238, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, and had an OPS of 765. I just think he's going to be able to step in and earn an opportunity to be him. But what I want for Christmas is
Hmm.
for him to like leave no doubt that he's a bona fide star and that he will have an immediate impact on his team. Before we move on to the Cavaliers, one more note on Naylor. I think I'm with you. It's not necessarily the fact that he was traded, it's the fact that I don't feel like we got much for him in return. And yeah, we could talk about the 31 home runs and 100 RBIs, and I know that's a point that I made as well. But if we both go back and look at last year's playoffs, when we needed Naylor to show up the most, it just seemed like he always disappeared. According to Stat Moves, he hit 225 with 5 RBIs. He had only 9 hits and 40 at bats during last year's playoff run. So, I think for us, it's more so return on investment,
Yep.
but we shall see. All right, so this next one should be pretty interesting and pretty fun. But let's move on to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They beat the Utah Jazz the other day. I thought it was kind of like one of their more competitive games in the last couple of weeks. I can't remember the last time that this team, matched up against another opponent that featured 2 7-footers in their starting lineup. And the Cavs was out rebounded by 12, which was a shocker there. I think JA might have a combined 11 or 12 rebounds total in his last 2 games, and that's a little odd for him. But just looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers, man, we are a well-oiled machine. We sitting at 26 wins on a year as we, get to the Christmas break. When you look at the Cavs, right? What's the one thing that you want from the Cleveland Cavaliers this Christmas?
Man, the one thing I want for the Cavaliers to continue to gel and be selfless. I was watching the interviews after the game against the Jazz, and when you look at those interviews and how they were clowning with each other and how they were the star players picking at each other and teasing each other and loving on each other, that's a culture you want to be a part of, right? That's a culture you really want to stick around. So it makes me think even more like, hey, that Donovan Mitchell trade, when you took a chance and gave up on a couple future stars, right? When you gave up Colin Sexton and Laurie, like those two guys are panning out. Those guys are playing well in Utah. They're playing pretty good basketball. You see, averaging 19 and 6 and 17 and 2. Those guys are playing good in Utah. Those not those chump guys you gave up, right? But to trust in Donovan, for Donovan to be the selfless guy he is. Last night, look, 22.7 assists and on 15 shots. I think at any time Donovan can take over a game, right?
Yeah,
I think at
yeah.
any time he could take over the game. We saw it again in Boston. We saw the Boston game when he came down like this fourth quarter is my quarter, right? But how he plays the game of basketball, how selfless he is, and it's contagious to the rest of the team. They care about winning more than individual stats or statistics or accolades. So I'm praying and I'm hoping all I want for Christmas is that to continue to stay because it's tough. You got some young guys in there, some DGs, some Evan Mobleys that people can get in their ear and they could get more worried about other stuff off the court or accolades. But right now, it seems like things are gelling. And all I want for Christmas, those guys continue to gel and continue to be selfless in that locker room. If they continue to do that, man, you can see them boys play a long time in the summer.
I really feel like you was in my notes because I kid you not, verbatim. That's what I said. I'll go to the other half of it, man. I think what I want, as far as the Cleveland Cavaliers is concerned, man, is for them to stay healthy and then continue to
Mm,
gel.
that's
You
true.
know what I mean?
That's
Like
true.
we have not been fully healthy with all of the players that matter at any point during this season, and we still have rolled off 26 wins, right? As soon as we get Max Strus back, we lose Isaac Okoro for a few weeks. Nothing major. He'll be back. He'll be back in the fold. But there's been a lot of talks at different points, during the beginning of the season, though the Cavs are having a lot of success on, what moves need to be made. Should the Cavs make a move? If you listen to guys like Mikey McNuggets and so on, they'll tell you until I can see Max Strus for a few games, and until I can see okay, Strus and the Coral is healthy at the same time, and see how Kenny Atkinson uses this rotation and how he differentiate the minutes between certain players and whatnot. Like that's when we'll have a conversation on if the Cavs need to make a move or not. But you look at it, man. This offense is not still all the way installed. And when you look at a first year head coach on a new team, you know, he's a beneficiary of having a guy like Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell being so selfless. You know, Kenny talks about all the time how he inherited a cohesive group, a group that had been together for a while. And when you have a guy like Donovan Mitchell leading the way, it helps that communication gap, right? That's that bridge of communication between player and coach. And Donovan has, I think, a good, you know, feel for each guy in that locker room. He knows how to address every single player in that locker room personally and
Yeah.
then get the best out of said player. And he understands that, okay, I can't take the same approach with this guy as I do with this guy, as I do with this guy. And so if this team can continue to stay healthy and continue to gel and continue to install what they're going to do, I think it's only a matter of question of, okay, let's just make sure that everything that we've seen so far from this Cavaliers team translate past the All-Star break into the playoffs. Because if it does, then I think we need to start having different conversations. Because I'm gonna tell you, any projections that we had, bro, of where the Cavaliers was going to end up this year, this was all before the season started, before we actually seen Evan
Mm-hmm.
Mobley take this next step. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's huge to. You're right. We didn't see anything. Our prediction, I'll be honest with you, my prediction wasn't what it is right now. Like what they're
Right.
playing right now, it wasn't there. So for Evan Mobley to continue, for Kenny to be able to get things going in his first year, you keep saying, and this is a great point by you, the offense is not fully installed yet. You ain't even got all your pieces yet. Like you
Yeah.
still are missing, you know what I mean, solid, healthy pieces playing together. So this could be a scary, scary team come summertime, man. I'm just really looking forward to it. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man. So let's just make sure, like I said, man, you know, stay healthy. Like a major injury to a major contributor, then that changes the entire
It would change things.
conversation.
It would change things.
But you know, I'm looking at it, you know, outside of what 2 days ago when we matched up against Utah, that game was a little competitive, but this Cavs team has pretty much been smashing every single opponent. And another thing I really, really enjoyed that, and I really, really like, is the fact that they don't seem to be taking no games off. They don't
Mm.
seem to, you know, have this lax mentality that because I'm a good basketball team or because our record is what it is, we can afford to lose one or two. No, it seemed like, man, they got their eyes like set like just solely on the Boston Celtics, and everything they do is preparing them for chasing that ultimate goal once we get to the summertime, because this is a gauntlet, right? This NBA season, man, this is a marathon. And I don't think people understand, like, now, you know what type of heart, you know what type of mentality you gotta have to lock yourself in and play this hard every single game for 82 straight,
Yeah.
knowing that you go into the playoffs, knowing that you got bigger aspirations. And you know, again, this is another, you know, tip of the cap to Kenny Atkinson, because you keep guys fresh because you're playing 11 and 12 guys a night. You know what I mean? And like,
Yep.
if you can continue
Yep.
to do that,
Yep.
not only do you keep your main guys fresh come playoff time, but you got these other guys war ready just in case they're
Yep.
called upon in a tight situation when you
Yep.
really gonna need them.
Man, the confidence is so key, especially in playoff time. Those guys have played all year long. They played in the regular season. They understand their role, what their job is when they get in the game. So it's not a shock to them when that big moment comes. They're gonna be ready to hit that three or drive or just penetrate, whatever the case may be. So for Kenny to be able to play 10, 11, 12 guys to get production and to get those important minutes, even if it's 8 or 9, 10 minutes a game, that's quality time that's going to be needed if your name is called upon when it comes to the playoffs. So I'm excited, man. I think I'm right with you. We're on the same page so far when it comes to the Indians and the Browns. I mean, the Indians and the Cavs. I'm interested to hear you on the Browns, though. I'm interested to hear you on the Browns.
Oh man, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll tell you what we want for Christmas from the Cleveland Browns. But first, man, listen. After this show, don't forget that today on Christmas Day, we got an ultimate Cavs show for you. We got an ultimate Buckeye show for you, and we got a behind the glass coming for you in between all the football, all the food you're gonna be eating, and all the fun that you're gonna be having with your family. Man, we right back at it Thursday live flagship show, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show at 11 o'clock a.m. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff to stay in the know. Now, this is the one right here. This is the one. This has been a very, very, very trying stressful, depressing, down year for Cleveland Browns fans, man. We've used words like apathy, right?
Mhm.
Apathy has set in, where people just don't give a damn like they used to. And you look at this team, they underperformed on the football field. We have a lot of questions about the coaching staff. We have a lot of questions about the front office. And we have an owner that's telling us, with every loss that's racking up, that guess what we gonna do, fellas? We just gonna run it back with the same people. I'm gonna start with this one. I'm gonna give you the floor out there and let you cook, bro. All I want for Christmas is a brand new general manager and a brand new head coach. That's
Ooh.
it. That's all. You know
Ooh.
why? Because I need to prove to the best player on my football team that we serious about turning this thing around and that we serious about winning. And yeah, you can't put a plan in front of Myles Garrett's face that says that, 2025 won't be a dismal, but you can do something to try to convince him and renew some type of faith and restore some new energy in him to say, okay, I see y'all trying to turn this around. But when you said what you said last week about if you look at it, 5 seasons, one playoff victory from Kevin Stefanski. We have 3 seasons to where we didn't even make the playoffs. And if I'm not mistaken, 2 of those 3 seasons resulted in double-digit losses. The Browns are going to suffer their worst losing season since the year that we went 0-16. And when you look at the extremes, right, and the just the extremes on both sides, we went from a playoff team last year to a team that's about to have a top 5 draft pick. Now, granted, you can't make the playoffs every year. This is the NFL. Parity is king. But if you look at a team like San Francisco, right, who's played an NFC Championship game the previous 2 or 3 years, they're having a down year. But even their down year don't look like our down year. And
Mm.
so what I need is a competent general manager
For
who
real.
is better in the draft and not just good at making trades. And what I need is a guy that can actually be a master motivator
Mm.
at head coach, not just like a guy that's like strategic, right? Not just a guy that got that part of it figured out, but like being able to emotionally like fuel somebody to get that gas going and get the most out of somebody on their absolute worst day. Like maybe we can use that. Maybe we can use that fresh face and that fresh voice. You look at Kevin Stefanski, and I mean, here it is 40-42, 1-2 playoff record, 2-time coach of the year. And I know people like to hang their hat on the coach of the year thing, man. But McNuggets pointed out to me yesterday, man, as we was just talking. You know who ain't never won a coach of the year award?
Oh.
Mike Tomlin.
I'd love to have him.
So exactly how much do coach of the year really mean when you
Mm.
really think about it in its totality, man? So for
Mm.
me, what I want for Christmas is for the Cleveland Browns, man, to get a new general manager and a new head coach.
I love where you're going with this. Speaking of new head coach, I'm gonna give you one. All I want for Christmas is Mike Vrabel. That's it. Mike Vrabel. He is your guy. Look at his record: 54-45 in 6 years with the Titans. 2-3 playoff record. 545 winning percentage. Now listen, he's a hometown kid. Walsh Jesuit High School. He knows and he understands what it means and how important the Browns are to the city of Cleveland. He understands how important the Browns are to Ohio. He went to Ohio State, was an All-American, whatever he was at Ohio State, played in the league a bunch of years. He is a master motivator. Look at his
Mm,
Tennessee Titans team. Look at his Tennessee Titans team. He made, well, I think it was 9-7 his first 4 years, 9-7, 9-7, 11-5, 12-5 with a average at best quarterback. Now, granted, he has a Hall of Fame running back, Derrick Henry, no doubt about it. But he was able to, his mindset, his mentality, very similar to me to Dan Campbell. He was fiery. He got the best out of his guys. He was about physicality. He was about playing physical on the offensive line, physical on the defensive line. He was about getting after the quarterback. He was about running the football. He was about running the football in the AFC North.
mm,
In the snow on that lake. You have to be able to run the football. To me, Mike Vrabel just makes too much sense to be the next Browns head coach. Also, he's not going to hold his tongue. I was able to be with him a little bit in 2015, I think, in 2016, with the Houston Texans, where he was the linebacker coach and eventually became the defensive coordinator. before he left for the Tennessee job. And when I mean he motivated guys, when I mean he held guys accountable, when I mean he was going toe to toe if he didn't agree with something with the head coach, he didn't hold his tongue in a respectful way, but he challenged the guys ahead of him. He challenged his peers. He challenged his players like, hey, this is what we need to be successful. So when you have this type of owner, and you may not change the GM, right? I don't know. I want to change the GM, but you may not change the GM. But when you have that type of owner, he can be the guy that stands up to the owner and says, hey, listen, this not going to work for the team. If you want what's best for the team, we got to do A, B, and C. We can't do this. If we want what's best for the team, we got to get rid of this player because this player is hurting our team. He's just not that good. Let's call it spade a spade. He's just trash. We got to move on from him. He's that type of guy. Not going to hold his tongue. Going to be very upfront, very honest, motivate his guys, and he's a proven winner. Like he's a proven winner. He's going to do a great job hiring his guys next to him. As far as his assistants, all I want for Christmas is for the Browns to hire Mike Vrabel, a hometown kid, Cuyahoga Falls. He can be, to me, a game changer when it comes to the Cleveland Browns coaching staff.
It's funny, man, because you said last week that with this type of owner, you're gonna need a head coach that's not willing to just be a yes man, somebody that's gonna push back a little bit. And when I heard you kind of like lay that all out, the first thing I thought about, well, maybe like, and this is me giving Jimmy Haslam some grace right now. Maybe if he hires Mike Vrabel, he knows Vrabel's resume, right? He knows the Super Bowl rings. He knows, him being a pass catcher that and caught touchdowns and being a dominant linebacker. And because of that resume and because of that pedigree, maybe Jimmy is more willing to listen to a guy like that who's actually proven a lot more. You know what I mean? Versus than what his current staff is. A guy like that giving that type of pushback. He don't want more than Jimmy has in the NFL. So it's
Yep.
like, okay, if I'm Jimmy and I got a head coach that has this history, that has this resume, and knows what winning at the ultimate level looks like, then I might be more keen to keep my mouth shut, ears open a little bit more, and start like, okay, let me listen to this dude because he know what the hell he's talking about.
And I think he's the type of guy that will sit down with Myles Garrett and get the best out of him, like, or get to convince him, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is our plan. This is how we're going to go about it. We would love to have you here. If you're all with it, let's go with it, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, if Myles says no, I'm not in for it. Because I get it. I'm all respect to Myles. 8 years, and he hasn't seen much, like much in return. He's given up his best. I think the youngest guy to get 100 sacks or close to it. I can't remember if he got it or not. Um, so if, just in my opinion, if he can sit down with Myles Garrett,
Mhm.
he can really change his mindset. Like, hey, I believe in this guy. I would want to play for this type of guy. I would want to. I think I believe in him that he can turn this franchise around and get us on the right track. I think convince Myles to stay. But even if he doesn't, he can rally the troops that's there and convince them and motivate them. Like, hey, we got what we need to win. Let's get on the right path and get going.
Nice, man. All right, man. It's time to close this out so everybody can get back to their families. So everybody can get back to watching some football or watching some shows, man. We always try to do something that's strictly Cleveland, right? That points to the city of Cleveland. And I'm gonna let you start off. You want to do personal or you want to do the city first? Which one you want to do? It's your show too, so you give me some direction.
Uh, we can go city first. We can go to
Let's do the,
city.
let's do the city first, man. For me, I want to see the homeless problem, you know, taken care of, right? Like I work right here on Lakeside, and depending on where I'm coming from, I can see nothing but homeless people down the street when I ride past before we get to our beautiful studios. And it sucks to see that. We see that a lot downtown Cleveland. It always sucks to see it, but especially during the holidays, especially when it's really, really cold outside. And these are people that's out here sleeping on the streets, on top of sewers, trying to stay warm with really nowhere to go, nothing to eat, etc. Like it breaks my heart and it's frustrating because we talk about this city becoming a vibrant city, a beautiful city, and we always talk about trying to build the city up to become like a tourist attraction, etc. But we got to make sure that like man, we taking care of what's at home and that we doing something to help those that's less fortunate because whether we know it or not, depending on what your beliefs is, man. But I'm a spiritual person. I know you a spiritual person. And ultimately, man, like your life work is your acts of service. Your life work is what you do to give back to other people. Your life works is what you do to help other people. And I'm the type of person every time I see it, it sucks. So for my city, for the city of Cleveland,
Mhm.
all I want for Christmas, man, is for the homeless to have somewhere to lay their head at and have a hot meal to eat.
Man, I love that. I love that. I think that's an important. It's just important, man. It kills me every time I see, and I don't know their story, their situation, but to me, it doesn't matter. Like they're in
Mhm.
need, right? And they need, especially in Cleveland, it's cold this time of year. So I couldn't imagine being homeless and being out in the streets. For me, all I want for Christmas, I was looking at a statistic, and this happened this summer. The mayor came out and said he saw a 13% reduction in total violent crimes this summer. So all I want for Christmas is continue to limit the violent crimes throughout the city of Cleveland. Man, there's so many people, either friends of mine, friends of yours, or we know friends of friends or family that have fall victim to some type of violent crime. I think everybody that's listening has fall victim in some type of way to a violent crime, and we just hate it. We hate to see it. So if we can just continue to keep the city safe, whatever that means. Continue to really just dive into why the violent crimes are happening. Maybe have more security, more police, whatever the case may be going on. Just find ways to continue to make this city safe because it's a beautiful city. We love the city. Everybody that's from the city is proud of the city. So the safer we can make it, the better it is for our children and for the future of our city.
Yeah, man, we don't always want to describe Cleveland as the place that we overcame to be successful, right?
Yep.
Because it is a beautiful city and there's a lot that goes on here, right? Let's be known for more than, having LeBron James at one point in time or having an amazing food scene. Like, let's have some safe fun. Let's keep continue to get the crime down. Let's get this homeless rate down. Let's get these education people graduating at a higher rate. Let's get that up. And as we close on the personal side, man, I'll just keep it simple. All I want for Christmas, man, is more peace in my personal life. I
Mhm.
think that sometimes from the outside looking in, people see me post about all the success that I'm having professionally. And it's because I'm excited. I'm thankful because I actually took a leap of faith and changed careers at the 30 years old. And it feels good to, be living out my dreams and having success doing so and earning my way throughout the business. But with that being said, man, I think a lot of people figure because of those things that everything in my life is grand. And we've talked a lot off camera. Like, I take personal beatings a lot, right? And for as happy as I am over here, I'm not gonna lie to you. I can stand to be a little bit happier over here. I can stand some things that makes me smile that has nothing to do with content, monetary value, etc. And that's necessarily not always uh including my kids or whatever. And I can remember when I was 18, one of my friends was killed in a car accident. And his stepfather told me at said time, like, Earl, you just keep living and you're gonna watch everything and everybody you love die and disappear. And the one thing that you learn in life, man, that life can forever be changing. Most times it's for the good, but sometimes it can be sad and sorrow, man. And those things can disrupt you emotionally, man. So for me, all I want for Christmas is more personal peace.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm kind of in a similar boat. All I want for Christmas is it's kind of on me though. I'll be honest, it's kind of on me is to take better care of myself. I pour into everybody so much, whether it's my wife and kids, whether it's family, whether it's friends or people I coach or whatever I do. I don't take time to really take care of my mental health, my physical health, and as you know, as we get older, you start realizing that your body is not the same that it was in its 20s, where you can just, eat McDonald's and not have to worry about it or whatever the case may
Yeah.
be. Um, going to the doctor, getting checkups, really understanding, okay, my body's not feeling well. Let me go to the doctor. Understanding, hey, I have this anxiety that's going on in me. Um, I need to go talk to a therapist. And there's nothing wrong with talking to a therapist, right? It's just a way to help me cope. It's a way for me personally to figure out what's the best way to deal with what I'm going through, right? If I'm sick, I go to the doctor. If I'm not doing well mentally, why don't I go to a therapist? It's the same thing, in my opinion. But finding ways to really be able to take care of myself and spend time for myself. I don't do that enough. I just don't, man. I don't take care of my mental health. I don't take care of me physically consistently enough. So I am aware that I'm overwhelmed at times, my anxiety is high at times, all these things are going on. So now it's on me to really put the work in this year to do better in those areas, to take care of my health mentally and physically.
Hey man, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everybody that's out there watching. Me and Cecil got one more show left this year. And next week, when we do our final show of the year, man, we're gonna have some special announcements about some things that's coming up in 2025, man. For me, from bro, man, from my family, his family. Merry Christmas to you and yours, man. Don't forget, man, be great, spread love, being great. Come with a price, spreading love is priceless. Till next time, we out of here. Peace.